Hey everybody, it's your girl Self Carrie here, your empowerment astrologer, here with another self-care astrology video. These are videos that are meant to help you use astrology, the aspects in your astrology chart, to help you recover from previous wounds, to help you reset any negative programming that you might have. And the most important thing, I'm here to help you start living the life you were born to live using your astrology chart. Now this video, this video is all about how to find boundary issues in your personal astrology chart. I have some issues with this, and so I thought, yeah, let's talk about this. I know I'm not the only one, okay? So today's video is going to help you use the aspects part of your astrology chart to help you heal those issues. You were given these experiences for a reason. A lot of times people talk about having boundary issues as this negative thing. Why do I have boundary issues? Why am I so an emotional sponge? Why do I pick up other people's energy? You were given this for a reason, and I'm going to talk to you about why that is. Your astrology chart is not just like some sort of sentence. It's not just saying, hey, these are the things that you're going to have to deal with by. It actually, if you go into the aspects part of your astrology chart, it gives you kind of a paint by numbers, little ways, little clues, little breadcrumbs to about how to heal that particular issue, that particular experience, because that's what you were brought here to do. You were brought here to have these experiences in a physical form and to also benefit from them and also learn how to work through the challenges of them. So if you are interested in this content, you want to learn more, please help me bring more videos like this to you by supporting my channel, by liking this video, by subscribing to this channel, also sharing this video with people you know that might be interested in learning more about their own astrology charts. And this is another way that you can support is by hitting that ring button. It's like a little bell button on right below, and that will allow YouTube to alert you the next time that I have a new video that I upload, right? So I hope that you will see me back here for another video. So let's first talk about what is Pisces energy. You know, I love Pisces because Pisces is mysterious. Every sign in the zodiac represents a different part of us, a different part of our psyche. And just like the sun represents the part of us that's illuminated, like your sun sign, it's really easy to tell what you are. It's like the star of your universe, the biggest thing, the biggest personality, the biggest part of you. Just like the sun and the rising sign to some degree represents the illuminated parts of you, the Pisces energy represents the parts of you that are unseen, that are unknown, mostly unknown to you. Everybody else can see it, okay? And Pisces is always related to the planet Neptune. Every sign in the zodiac has been assigned a star, a moon, a planet. And so whenever you see a Pisces energy or Pisces aspect on your chart, you also know that that represents Neptune and vice versa, okay? So Pisces represents the part of us that is unseen, that's not easy to get to. It represents illusions, sometimes illusions that we tell ourselves, you know. Pisces represents fantasies, escapism, the part of us that doesn't want to deal with reality. It also represents things like glamour, you know, like a lot of people who are entertainers or artists or even just makeup artists or who have that kind of persona. They're not even a celebrity or famous, but you know, everybody knows that person that just kind of carries that kind of mysterious, nebulous energy. Maybe they love to dress up with makeup and become other characters or cosplay. That's Pisces energy also. Pisces is, I call it Pisces like the Jedi of the zodiac. It's the last sign of the zodiac. So it represents the stage in human development when we have left our bodies, left our physical bodies. We are in that nebulous space, liminal space between the physical world and the next world when we'll go to meet our creator, whomever we believe that to be. And so it's an unknown area of life. And it's also the last area of life. So it's the wise elder, basically, of the zodiac. And if you know a Pisces, we tend to like make fun of Pisces and be like, oh, you're so spacey. Pisces are so spacey. They're always drinking. They're always doing video games. They're always trying to escape life. But a lot of that is because they're most likely on their last physical life. They've seen a lot of things. Even if you know Pisces and they're very young, they carry an energy and a wisdom about them that says they are an older soul. They've seen a lot of things. And this is why Pisces is prone to escapism, because it's very hard to live in the physical world knowing there is so much more than this. And so the rest of the signs, which are basically kind of baby signs compared to Pisces, don't always feel that need to escape so much because they haven't done this life before. Usually a Pisces, someone who's a sun sign Pisces or carries a lot of Pisces in their chart, are people who have been here before, probably multiple times. So it's this master Jedi type of energy. Pisces are always prone to being an introvert and escaping things, but they also just know so much. And so spend some time with your Pisces. They have a lot to tell you. So it's very much like a 1 foot in this world, 1 foot in the other. And it also, the Pisces energy represents the womb, the WOMB. So it's also the gestation period place, because we don't know entirely, if you're alive, you don't know if you're going to meet your creator, whomever you believe that to be, or you're going back into the womb and coming back to this life again, And so Pisces represents all that's mysterious to us, but also all that is gestating, waiting to become, waiting to transform, waiting to, just basically unknown to us, none of us know until we're ready to go, Now, Pisces also represents our blind spot. So wherever you have Pisces or Neptune on your chart represents where you don't think clearly, it also represents unconditional love. So it's like, it's a blind spot because you kind of don't want to see all that's there. This is, this is like classic energy for people who don't see the red flags in a relationship, definitely people who have, like, say, Neptune in the 7th house, which is the relationships house, are known for not seeing red flags in a relationship, or seeing red flags and demoting them to like pink or lavender or something, so that they're not like on full alert, and that's because they're bestowing unconditional love on that person or that thing, and they're choosing not to see the reality of what's right in front of them. So Pisces energy, I've made it sound so mysterious and nebulous, right? The thing is, every part of us, every one of us has a placement of Pisces in our chart. Even if you're like the most fire sign person, you've got sun sign Leo, rising sign Sagittarius, moon in Aries, okay? Even if you are all fire or all earth or something, you still have a placement of Pisces. And that's usually whatever house in your astrological chart is ruled by the sign Pisces. That's the area of life where you are, you have blind spots, the area of life that you give unconditional love, and also the area of life where you might be very confused, okay? So it's important to know where those are. So before I get into that, I'm going to go through explanation of Pisces in each house. So for instance, Pisces rules the 1st house. What does that mean? Okay. And then, but before I do that, I'm going to talk about how you can find on your chart all your Pisces placements that we're going to talk about today. So if you want to go to a really great free service that I use a lot when I'm teaching people, it's like easy to navigate for beginners, is astro.com. That's astro.com. Go to astro.com, go up to the very top left of the screen where it says free horoscopes, click on that, and then drag down to the natal chart ascendant free chart. It's gonna prompt you to put in your name, your birth information, birth location, birth time, birthday, okay? And then once you put in that information, you're going to be given a full astrology chart. It will look like a nice wheel, like a celestial wheel. You're going to want to go on the top left part of the screen. There's a part that says PDF additional tables. Once you click on that, you'll be taken to what's called an aspects chart. You're going to see at the very top, it says natal chart data sheet, and then it's going to say aspects. And that's where you're going to be able to find if you have any aspects to Neptune, because Neptune represents that Pisces energy. Any planets that you have in aspect to Neptune is telling you whether or not you have boundary issues and where, and also how to work with them. Okay, so we're going to go into that a little bit later. First thing I'm going to talk about is, even if you are the most Arian of Aries people, or the most fire sign, or the most earth sign, air sign, whatever, you're still got a placement of Pisces. So if you have Pisces ruling your first house, this is your identity. This means that Pisces, that you're kind of confused about your identity. This is also if you have Neptune, the planet Neptune in your first house. You have boundary issues around your identity. You might also be somebody that it's very easy for other people to tell you who you are, or you find that you know who you are, but other people are always trying to make you into what they think you are. So this is Pisces ruling a certain area of life makes you highly permeable in that area of life. People see what they want to see about you instead of who you actually are. That's if you have Pisces in the first house. If you have Pisces in the second house, this is the house of wealth and finances. This means that you might have a blind spot in this area. Also, if you have Neptune in the second house, Neptune and Pisces together represent a blind spot, confusion, spaciness. And if it's in the house of wealth and finances, which is the second house, this also represents your values, your self-esteem, how you make money. People who have Neptune or Pisces ruling their second house often have a hard time making money, knowing where it's coming from, or they have a hard time charging the full amount for their services, things like that. Okay, so that's where you have boundary issues. If you have Pisces ruling your third house, or you have Neptune in your third house, this means that your communications doesn't have a lot of boundaries. This is a kind of a fantastic placement for writers. I have this placement myself. Also, Stephen King is one other person. Many writers actually have this placement. This means that you are highly permeable in this area. So it means that you kind of have a hard time speaking. You have a hard time getting your words out, and so often you tend to write them. And also, when you're another way of getting the information that you're getting is often very much downloaded from other realms. It's like, Stephen King comes up with these otherworldly stories, right? And that's because that Neptune in the third house is he's almost like he's channeling, not just writing down his experiences, but channeling these out of this world ideas. Okay, that's Pisces in the third house, or Neptune in the third house. Now, Pisces ruling your fourth house, or Neptune in the fourth house. Fourth house represents the childhood area. Also, it represents your actual childhood. You might have some blind spots around that. I've had many clients with Neptune in the fourth house who didn't have a childhood at all. Maybe they started working very early. A lot of child celebrities have Neptune in the fourth house. They might not even remember their childhood at all. They might not remember parts of it. It might be foggy. Sometimes even they may have had a mysterious illness as a child, or been sick as a child. And so they didn't get to experience that. And so Pisces in the fourth house is where also people might have hard time having boundaries with their families, or in their home, so that's either Pisces ruling the fourth house or Neptune in the fourth house. Now, Pisces ruling the fifth house, or Neptune in the fifth house. The fifth house is the house of Leo, and the house of creativity, and the house of fun. So this is actually a really nice combination when you have Pisces here, because you kind of have boundless creativity. You kind of have a huge imagination. Now, the only thing is, Pisces energy is watery energy. It doesn't like movement. It's almost like a monk just sitting there kind of like downloading information. So if you have Pisces in the fifth house, sometimes it's hard for you to access your creativity and do something with it, like put it out there for other people to listen to your music. Look for your, maybe you want to be an actor, or you want to be a painter. You might have a hard time putting your actual artistry out into the world when you have Pisces there. Also, you might have hidden creativity that you're not even aware of if you have Neptune in the fifth house or Pisces in the fifth house. Now, if you have Pisces ruling your sixth house, or Neptune in the sixth house is the house of productivity. So this also is kind of hard. This is you trying to bring things into the world and finding it hard to be productive, finding it hard to be able to do so, right? And so, this is where you might get spacey, or you might procrastinate a lot if you have Pisces. in this area of life. Okay, now if you have Pisces ruling the 7th house or Neptune in the 7th house, this is what I was saying before about relationships. Someone who's relationships are a blind spot. They don't totally understand them. They kind of don't know where they begin and the other person ends, and so sometimes it'd be a very codependent relationship, right? If you have Neptune in the 8th house or Pisces ruling your 8th house, the 8th house is a karmic house. This is the house of Scorpio. This is often people who have these kind of otherworldly karmic experiences, things that have to do with the shamanic practices and other, the darker psychological parts of ourselves. You may be somebody who really doesn't understand that stuff or is very clueless. And this is also what we talk about when we talk about people who are very prone to, like, say, emotional vampirism or psychic vampires. It's very easy for these people with these kind of not great motives, to be able to enter your life. All right. So that's, Pisces ruling the 8th house or Neptune in the 8th house. Now, Pisces ruling the 9th house or Neptune there, this is a spiritual house. So this is kind of the place, and I've seen it many times with different clients who have placements here. They're spiritual leaders, they tend to be, because they have this easy access to that energy. Pisces ruling your 9th house, which is the house of Sagittarius, the traveling prophet type of energy, or if you have Neptune in the 9th house. Now, Pisces ruling your 10th house or Neptune in your 10th house, this is your career house. This is hands down, whenever I have a client that's confused about what they want to do with their life and their career, that's where their Pisces is. That's their ruling. Pisces is ruling their 10th house, or they have Neptune in the 10th house. Confusion. It usually means a spiritual career is what you're meant to have. And those are the careers that always, come by us so nebulously, right? People fall into spiritual careers. People very rarely go out and seek spiritual careers. It's usually something happens to them, or they have an experience that puts them down that path. So that's what Pisces ruling the 10th house or Neptune in the 10th house is. Now, if you have a Pisces ruling the 11th house or Neptune in the 11th house, this is the house of friendships, of community. And so this might be difficult for you. I've had so many clients who have Neptune in the 11th house, and they don't understand how friendships work. They might have lots of friends, but they themselves don't totally know how they got that many friends, and they don't totally know how to connect to it. So it's almost like they don't know, they're kind of for the people. They very much like having friends, but they're not of the people. They feel like they're still kind of separate people from that. All right. And then finally, if you have Pisces ruling your 12th house or Neptune in your 12th house, this is the natural placement for Pisces, because the 12th house represents Pisces. Neptune in the 12th house, people, hands down, these are my clients who are screenwriters. These are my clients who are fantasy writers. These are my clients who work in the film and entertainment, smoke and mirrors industries, okay? Because their imaginations are so massive, that they literally need an industry like that to be able to put all of that. It also can make it very difficult. They tend to also have had childhoods that were very confusing for them. These are our like sixth sense kind of kids, who were picking up on things really, really early, and maybe even having those supernatural experiences very early on in life. Okay. So everybody's got a placement of Pisces. And when using the information I told you about how to find your chart, let me know in the comments, what is the house that your Pisces is ruled by? I want to know, because I just want to do a poll of like how many people have certain Pisces in which house and that kind of thing. Now, you can have boundary issues beyond just your basic Pisces, which house does Pisces rule placement. I'm going to clue you in on some of the other ones that make you even more Pisces. Now, to be honest, Pisces just means psychic. It really just means like so highly intuitive that you have no boundaries. You're highly penetrable, and you pick up on other people's stuff to the point where you think it's your own. That's what Pisces is. And so you're going to, this is the house of the empath. This is the house of all that. So you're going to be able to find on your chart, that aspects chart, how much psychic energy you have going on, and also how to heal it. Now, if you have Sun, Moon, Mercury, or Mars in the sign of Pisces, this is a huge indicator of that psychic energy, that you are someone who has quote unquote boundary issues. If you have Sun, Moon, Venus, Mercury, or Sun, Moon, Venus, Mercury, or Mars in aspect to Neptune on that aspects chart, you are someone who's got some boundary issues. Now, If you go and look on that chart and you find the little sign of Neptune, which looks like the Triton, remember from Aquaman, he was carrying this Triton, that's the Neptune symbol. So you're going to go to that chart and you're going to look down and see all the planets that are in aspect to that Neptune, to that little Triton. That's going to give you an idea of the types of boundary issues you have, but also how to heal them. If you have, say, a conjunction, say that you have a Venus in a conjunction to Neptune. Venus is our love nature and Neptune is our blind spot, right? And when you have a conjunction, this means like a roaring fire. These two planets are so close, they're kissing, okay? They are merged. And it's actually overwhelming. Conjunction is considered a very fiery, exciting, romantic, but also kind of overwhelming like that. That's a lot, energy. So a conjunction just means that this person doesn't see love as in practical ways at all, that they only are looking for soulmates, that they're only looking for people that can, make them feel like they are twin flames or this otherworldly kind of stuff going on, okay? If you have, say, a trine, say you have like Mars in a trine to your Neptune. Mars energy is actually aggressive energy. It's assertive, it's a movement, it gets stuff out there. When it's an aspect to Neptune, especially a trine, this means it can be kind of hard to get things out there. But it's almost like a steamy energy. It's fire and water together, all right? So say you have a trine, which is like a triangle as an aspect. This means it's very easy for you to take that aggressive, angry Mars energy and move it into very sensual ways. This is where we get that kind of like Marilyn Monroe, kind of Lana Del Rey, Sophia Loren, Eartha Kitt kind of sensual sexuality, assertiveness, like the person that moves in more sensual ways. That's the Mars trine Neptune, and it's easy for them to do it. They do not feel that it's a challenge to access this energy that way. Now, a square means it's a challenge that you're meant to overcome. So you're meant to do some work. You're meant to do some work with the square. So say, for instance, that you have Sun square Neptune, okay? Highly psychic placement, by the way. And if you have Sun square Neptune, you are somebody that it's a challenge to have Sun square Neptune, okay? Sun represents your illumination, like your essence, how you really show up in the world, your biggest energy. And then when it's an aspect to Neptune, Neptune is this ghostly, psychic, otherworldly, kind of unknown, right? And usually if somebody, if it was like an easy aspect, this would just be like your super spacey person who's just like, I'm super woo-woo, that's just the way it is. Like they're cool with it. But if you have Sun square Neptune, you're not cool with it. You're most likely someone who also carries a lot of earth energy or fire, and it's really hard for you to be able to know and see all of these kind of otherworldly, psychic, supernatural things, and also have to live in the world and also have to shine, so it's not an easy energy, but it is meant to be overcome again. And one of the ways that you can work with a square and overcome that energy is by putting yourself in school to learn more about that. The square just means these two energies don't understand each other, but they're supposed to, they're meant to, okay? So literally put yourself in school so you can be mentored about it instead of beating yourself up for not knowing how these two things go together. Now, if you have an opposition to Neptune, this means that you kind of flip-flop, and these two energies are meant to be balanced. That's what that is. A little bit of one, a little bit of the other. So say you have Mercury in opposition to Neptune. Mercury is your speech and your communication, how you talk. You may be somebody who has a hard time speaking, or sometimes you blurt things out because you've had a hard time speaking at other times. So there's that flip-flop again. All right. So when you have an opposition with Neptune here, this is somebody who definitely should be like on the debate team, but also take time to be introverted as well. So have that outward outlet, but also have the thing that you hold close to yourself. You're just a journal writer or something like that. Give yourself the outlet and also give yourself the introverted space as well for this opposition to balance out. Now, if you have an inconjunct between any of to Neptune, these are two planets that don't get each other at all. There basically means these planets are so close that they're like right behind each other. And you know how if somebody's standing right to the side of you, you can't really see them. Like if we were bugs, we'd have compound eyes. But when they're standing right to the side, you don't know, you can't see them, but you know they're there. You know something's there. And it puts you on edge because you don't quite understand what it is. That's what an inconjunct is. These two things don't understand each other. And so this is how you work with that. You start to really understand that Neptune energy. Like for instance, let's say you have, let's go with Venus again. Let's say, oh no, Moon. Let's go with Moon. Moon in conjunct Neptune, right? Moon is already like a very nurturing, mother, maternal type of energy. It doesn't understand that Neptune energy, the fantasy part. Usually when you have a Moon in conjunct Neptune, the mother figure, whoever that is, it's not gendered, it could be whoever was meant to give you that maternal energy. This means that mother may have had some mental issues, or the mother was sick and not totally present, or just not present, period. So the child almost created a lore, a myth around the mother, that kind of thing. And so that's where that Neptune comes in. So there's this, emotional need for this thing that you can't quite understand, and you don't totally get it because it never really showed up for you. So you make up these fantasies about it, what it actually is. So inconjuncts are hard because they're not actually meant to be overcome. They're meant to be accepted more than anything. Accept that and recognize that you have replaced reality with a myth there. And so keep yourself in acceptance of that and understanding that and remembering that. So the final thing is how to find out if you have boundary issues in your chart is if you have any 12th house planets. Any planets in your 12th house. 12th house is a psychic house. It means you are highly permeable to otherworldly energies as well as to other people's energies that they're just like spewing out on the street. 12th house people are walking antennas. I understand. I have 3 planets in my 12th house. Okay. And so understanding that you are a highly sensitive person who needs that introverted time alone, especially if you're a Leo like myself, who also needs to be out there, you also need to have that introverted part too. So let me know in the comments, when did you first know that you had boundary issues? Tell me what happened. Give me the story. Everybody has that moment where they realize like, hey, I keep taking on this energy. What was yours? And then also let me know which house in your chart is ruled by the sign Pisces. And then let me know how it's shown up in your life. Like, how did it play out? Give me an example of how it played out, relationship, work thing, whatever it was. I want to know, I want to see down in the comments and just get an understanding of some of the experiences that people have had and how astrology has worked in their life. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for taking in all of that content. Thank you for supporting me and subscribing to this video if you haven't already. And I got more stuff coming up for you, so hopefully you'll meet me back here. And in the meantime, take care.